Hi everyone, sorry for the delayed lesson, but here is the video for the lesson that was taught on Friday and then a little bit again today. So what we're doing today is we're learning how to solve with logs, okay? In certain equations that look like this, you will never be able to solve for x without a log, okay? And that's where they're very pivotal. Because if I were to say 10 to the what equals 3, nobody would be able to do that in their head. They need the calculator, okay? So, the two important rules on this first page, not much is getting done, but the two important rules that I want you to star are these two boxes, okay? The log of a power of 10 and the log of a power rule. Those are going to be important. Now, I'm not going to talk about them on this page. I'm just going to talk about them and touch on them when we get to when we do some examples, because it's just too much wording for you guys to understand, okay? So we're just going to jump to examples. So, up on top here, I did one for you. Okay, so you can look at it, but we're just going to jump into me doing examples right away. I think it's a little bit easier for you to see and for you to learn and for you to take notes on, okay? So, every time I do a log equation, the first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that my term with my exponent is all by itself. And in this case, it is, okay? I have that 10x all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So when I have that, I could take the log of each side immediately. And all that means is when I'm taking the log is writing down log in front of each term. So I wrote down log in front of the 10x and log in front of the 475. Okay? Then the immediate next step after that is called the power rule, and that was on the front page. But all that means is we can bring the exponent down to the front. Okay? So in order we can solve for that. It's very difficult to solve for an exponent, so that's why we're going to bring it down to the front. Okay? So now we have x log of 10 equals log of 475. In this case, anytime you see a log of 10, it is equal to 1. So you can just, anytime you see log of 10, you're just going to put a line through it, okay, because it's equal to 1. So now I'm left with x equals log of 475. And this is where you're going to type this into your calculator on your phone. So you're going to go to this, the log button is next to the 7, I'm pretty sure, on your home calculator. Let me check. Let's see, graphing. Yep, so your log button is right next to the 7. So you're going to press log, then you're going to type in 475. You're going to close the parenthesis and press enter, okay? And what you should have gotten is x equals 2.68. And that's how you would solve this. So what's really important is making sure you're putting log and making sure you're bringing your exponent down. Those are the two important rules for today's lesson, okay? We're going to do a bunch of practice, so I'm going to move on over, okay? The first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that my term with my exponent is by itself. And in this case, it's not, because there's an 18 attached to it. So I'm going to divide each side by 18. And I'm going to keep that as a fraction. So these two will cancel out. And I'm left with x equals 0.4x equals 37 all over 18. Okay? I'm leaving it as a fraction. So now my term that I squared initially that I needed to get by itself is by itself. And once that happens, I can just put a log in front of it. Okay? If I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I have to take the log of each side. Okay? Now, I told you before that your immediate step after you take the log of each side is bringing this exponent down into the front. So now I have 0.4x log of 10 equals log of 37 divided by 18. Okay? Once again, if you remember, log of 10 is just 1, so that can cancel out only when it says log of 10. So then I'm left with 0.4x equals log of 37 all over 18, okay? But in order to get x by itself over here, I have to divide by a 0.4 on each side, okay? Now, you're going to go to your calculator, okay? You are going to press log, the button next to 7. So log 37 divided by 18, close your parentheses, then divided by 0.4. Okay, so it should, if you want me to write it down, I can. So it should look like this in your calculator. Log 37 divided by 18, close your parentheses, divided by 0.4. And your answer should have been x equals 0.78. Okay? All right, going on to number 3, okay? The term that has my exponent is by itself. So I am just going to set both of these with log. So now I have log of 3x and log of 25. My immediate step after is to bring my exponent down. So now I have x log of 3 equals log of 25. Now, these are different because I no longer have a log of 10, so I can't cancel anything out, okay? So what I need to do here is this says x times the log of 3. And in order to get x by itself, I need to divide both sides by 3. Okay? So now I have x equals log of 25 all over log of 3. Okay? Now, in your calculator, I'm going to pick it up. You are going to type log 25, close your parentheses, divided by log 3, close your parentheses. So, it should look like this. Okay, and your answer should have said x equals 2.92. Okay? So make sure you're learning how to do this in your calculator. I'm writing them down for you. All right, one more. So here is the term that I need to get by itself. Okay, that's my term that I need to find by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do from there is I'm going to add 6 to both sides. So now I have 7 times 5 to the x equals 10. But this is still not by itself, so I need to divide each side by 7. So now I have 5 to the x equals 10 over 7. Okay, now my exponent term is finally by itself. Okay, so I could take the log of both sides now, keeping this as a fraction. And once I take the log, my exponent can drop down. So now I have x log of 5 equals log of 10 divided by 7. Okay, and then from there, to get x by itself, I'm just going to divide by 5. By log of 5, okay? So in your calculator, you should be typing log, open your parentheses, 10 divided by 7, close your parentheses, divided by log of 5, close your parentheses, and then press enter. And your answer should have been x equals 0.22. Okay, so that's how you're going to complete these problems, all right? If you have to rewatch that section, go ahead and do. And then you're going to flip to the next page. So, just like log, there's also something called natural log. And whenever you see an e, you are going to use the natural log because log and e, regular log, can't work with e. But a natural log could work with e, okay? We are following the same exact steps, but now we're going to use ln instead of log, and you'll see that, okay? So, I need to get this term by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 4 from both sides. So now I have e x minus 2 equals 8. Okay? Now I have that by itself. So on the first page, I was taking log, but now I am going to take the natural log, and that is denoted by ln. So I'm doing the same thing to both sides, but now I'm taking the natural log. Okay? Now, same thing happens. My exponent drops down to the front. So I have x minus 2, ln of e equals ln of 8. Now, just like log of 10, ln e also equals 1. So we can just cancel that right out. We don't really need that. So now I'm left with x minus 2 equals ln of 8. Okay? Now, to get x by itself, I have to go ahead and add 2 to both sides. But that cannot become ln 10. It is now ln 8 plus 2. So you have x equals ln of 8 plus 2. Okay? And there is also an ln button in your calculator as well. It is right below the log. So it says log, and under it says ln. Okay? So how you're going to type that is ln 8, close your parentheses, then add 2. Okay? And your answer should have been x equals 4.08. All right? Moving on to number 2. Okay, so this is the same idea. I need to get this by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is add 7 to both sides. So now I have x plus 3 equals 27. Okay, and my exponent term is all by itself. So I'm going to put ln in front of each term. Okay, so now I have ln x plus 3 equals ln of 27. Okay, and once I've done that, my whole exponent is going to drop to the front. So I have x plus 3 ln of equals ln of 27. All right? And immediately I see ln of so that can cross out because that's equal to 1. So I'm just left with x plus 3 equals ln of 27. Now, I'm just going to subtract each side by a 3. Remember, this does not become ln of 24. It stays ln of 27 minus 3. Okay, and then you're going to type that into your calculator, and your answer should say x equals 0.3. You're going to round up. It's like 0.29 something, 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 and round up. Okay? All right, moving on to number 3. Now, there's a lot more stuff going on here, so have to pay attention on these two. Okay? We need to get a term by itself. Okay? So this is the term that needs to be by itself. So I have to move that -8, and I also have to move that -4. So the first thing I'm going to do is move the I'm going to add 8 to both sides. So now I'm left with -4 3x plus 1 equals -2. Okay? From there, I still need this this term to be by itself. So I'm going to divide each side by a -4. And now I'll have to the 3x plus 1 equals a positive half, because 2 divided by 4 is a half. Okay? At this point, I can then take the ln of each side, because my term is by itself. Okay? Remember, your exponent's going to plop down. You'll have 3x plus 1, ln of equals ln of a half. All right? Once again, ln of is going to cancel out, and you're left with 3x plus 1 equals ln of a half. Here, I have 2 steps. So this one's going to be a little bit trickier, so you have to listen how we're going to put it into the calculator, okay? I'm going to subtract 1 first from both sides. So now we have 3x equals ln of a half minus 1. But then I also need to divide by a 3 on both sides, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to type this into your calculator first. So ln 1 divided by 2, close your parentheses, minus 1, and then press enter, okay? You're going to get a crazy decimal, and from there, you are just going to hit the division sign, then 3, then enter, okay? And you should get an answer of x equals -0.56. So we have to do two separate different things for your calculator. All right, last one. Okay, I'm going to erase this, so if you need to pause, because I'm going to erase it now. All right, on to number 4. This is the last one I'm going to be doing with you, okay? So I need to get this by itself. That's my first step, is to get that by itself. So I need to subtract 5 from each side. And then I need to go ahead and divide by a 3 on both sides. Okay, because now I will have this to itself. Okay? And once I've done that, I can then take the natural log of both. Okay? Once I've taken the natural log, my exponent can drop in front. I know that ln of equals 1, so I'm just left with x minus 7 equals ln of 7 over 3. But I have to add 7 to both sides, okay? So in your calculator, you are going to write ln 7 divided by 3, close your parentheses, plus 7, and your answer should have been x equals 7.85, okay? So now that we've done, 4 of each together, you're going to go ahead and do the last page on your own, okay? So the first 3 are log, and the last two are ln. So this was the second page, and this was the third page, okay? If you have any questions, let me know. You're gonna do these on your own. Bye-bye.